It's totally just like, hey, want to hop on this like train? And I was like, hell yeah. And like,
That's how I did
loved,
it. Yo,
loved every minute of it, dude. Loved every minute of it.
But you have to have a really true heart in order to like accept someone, because you don't know what people have been through in their lifetime, and people are trying and trying. And one thing that I've learned is that you can fuck up one time and do good the rest of your life, but people always be stuck on that one bad thing, and that's what you'll be known for. And that's what you don't see enough, is giving people that extra chance.
Yeah, I think VYPER tries to make that for people.
Exactly.
Like our people try to recreate that.
That is a traditional way of coming to like what do you call it? Restitution. It's restitution, and like giving people the chance to have that.
I think it could go beyond that, especially like with the work that we do, because we don't know what these youth have been around or learned in their own home life, or what they've grown up around. And it can definitely steer them away from culture or wanting to even learn. And I think we're really trying to reconnect and give them that second chance at seeing what our people are really like, other than just like the harmful aspect that our people have been through. Because I'm pretty sure there's in the sad reality, there's no fucking native kid that hasn't gone through hardship. There's no native kid that hasn't seen drugs. There's no native kid that hasn't seen alcohol. But it starts with us now, because we're the next generation. We're giving our kids the next chance to see a life without drugs or without alcohol or without seeing the abuse that comes into our families.
Breaking the cycle.
Yeah, we're breaking the cycle, and I think it just can go beyond that.
We cycle breakers in this community.
Change, goosebumps. Ugh, change for generations to come.
Speaker at events and stuff now. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
but to me, like working and like learning with you guys, it's scary sometimes, because I've never worked a real job. I'm not good with emails. I'm not good with fucking reaching out to people. And so like learning along the way with you guys, it's fucking scary. But like I know that I have a great team to work with, and like if I have questions, yeah. But that's also why I haven't like really done anything either yet, is because I feel kind of held back, because I don't know how to do shit.
Well, you
think
this is the difference. I feel like this is a big thing I've been thinking about. Not with like I don't think about that. But what I think about is like my constant. I know how to walk this Western and colonial world. I can do anything. But when it comes to the cultural realm, I'm so clueless and I'm fucking terrified. Like, I'm so scared when I go to powwows. Like, people don't know it, but MCing in Vancouver scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like second nature, right? It's like, you just get it. But when you put me in a fucking room in front of 800, like, social workers, easy. I could talk for days, So it's like, it's amazing, like, the way our people in this group bring those different skills. Because I don't want to walk that Western walk, but I know how to do it. And if I know how to do it, I'm going to use those skills to my advantage to do shit like this, to write back to the reporters and to apply for grants and do the stuff that I don't want to do, that I don't feel is natural. But it brings up this, and this is natural, man. Like, this is how things are supposed to be. So you got to understand, like, don't worry about that.
Some deep shit, dude.
Well, it's true. I was raised in that world. I wasn't raised in your world, So it's like, I feel really honored to hear what you just said, because for me, it's the flip side of it.
word that comes to mind is Viper work is very enlightening work to me. You know, like I've always been one to like sort of acknowledge, like the sort of like natural flow of like where like you want to go and where like your spirit wants to like take you and such. But like I just feel like the decisions and the interactions that I have with Viper is rewarding on like so many different levels in terms of like being able to help a community, being able to interact with like getting the fortune to interact with the community, and to see all these different peoples and places and the way that like different like for me, like my personal favorite is like hearing the different like stories and like especially like creation stories from like the different sort of nations. And like like a lot of Viper work to me feels very like enlightening, like it feels like it's the work that like we should be doing, not as like someone who has like capitalistic goals in society, but someone who just wants to like live like it feels like being an actual human.
Everybody, like I thought that since I wasn't raised with culture, like culture wasn't like for me, or like if you didn't already know, then you didn't like deserve to know, or you didn't have a place or something. And I kind of learned that like there's a place for everybody, and like no matter you kind of always fit in and stuff, like you deserve it whether you were raised in it or not, is something that I've learned. Being part of it, like I've learned so much, and like I've experienced things that like I've never thought I experienced, and I've learned things about like people and like humanity in general that I didn't like previously know. Like I didn't know that like I didn't even know what like culture was, and like I didn't know what I was missing because I wasn't like obviously like raised with it at all. And so like there was like smudging going on at one of the powwow nights, and then they're like, do you want to smudge? And I'm like, okay. And then it was like my first time, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And like things like this that I get through Viper that I wouldn't otherwise get. And yeah, just like learning it and getting to go into my like everyday life and just like carry those things with me, it makes me more like grounded of a person, and I think more better of a person and understanding and stuff, and happier.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think how we do it, for me, this has been the biggest question throughout Viper, because it's like I'm continually questioning, what am I doing that's contributing to like a colonial way of doing things? And then how much of that do I actually need to do to get through to people, because that's how people are taught. And it's been a continuous like an example of this would be, I want to go to law school on the island for their Indigenous law program. But that's like fully committing to learning like the Western talk, the law that literally hurts so many of our people, the laws that have been in place that created residential schools. Like it's committing to learning that, And so part of me is like, yeah, I gotta learn it so I can fucking stop these things that are hurting our people and influence better things for our people, so they have more sovereignty and agency, and like so nations can reclaim their land. And like I want to be in those court battles, like I want to do those things.
The things I've heard about Viper a lot is like hope from every generation.
Things that you've talked about before is focusing on mentorship, focusing on younger generation, passing on learning, talking about sharing leadership within the group a lot more, reaching more rural areas, and creating more safe spaces for young people to learn and explore their culture. But I think, yeah, as Pavel said, bringing traditionalism back wasn't something that wasn't on there yet. So very cool.
When I think about Viper, I think of like it being this movement of inspiration for young people, and I think Val said it really good, where it's like you give almost a second chance, like a second opportunity for them to want to learn. So you can't make someone want to learn these things, but you can give them opportunities to engage until they want to themselves, like until they get to that point. I had opportunities as a teenager to engage in culture, but it never clicked. Like it was something I viewed as foreign and not relating to me. And it wasn't until a powwow that it's like, holy, this is related to my life and my bloodline. And it's like you just can't teach that. Like people have to connect to it. So where are we going? I don't know.
But that's good, right? If you knew where you're going, that would be
my goal
so.
when I do the work plan, like saying what our next year is going to look like, it's so hard because fluidity is the biggest thing for how I view this type of work. It's not a work plan. Like I can't say what I wrote down was like, yeah, we're gonna have 7 new leads, and I actually didn't write anything about what projects will run because I'm not the one to decide that. Like, this is for the people in their own regions to decide what they think they need, and it will vary. Like me and Pavel might think Vancouver needs different things, and that's like the point, right? People bring these different ideas, so yeah, I usually I kind of like the idea of where are we going being blank almost. But then on the flip side of that, I've done a lot of research on my people, like Anishinaabe people specifically, and they're very strategic, right? A lot of Indigenous people are. It's what you call visionaries, right? But it's like, where you have like a plan in place, but that plan doesn't need to be a detailed one. It could be like, we just want to do this thing. That might just be inspire people.
And we've got that. We have like inspiring and continuing to lift people up, and then mentoring, passing down knowledge, passing on knowledge. Like it's that is where we're going, and where though that like the doors that opens is a whole nother story, but we're continuing to do the good work.
Yeah, when I think of like where we are going, like what we're trying to do, I think of like we're trying to connect people to trusting what their ancestors' plans were for them. That's how I view it. Like, because when I think about my life and all the weird ways it's going, I'm like, man, looking back, there are reasons it went that way, and it's a lot of trust in what like my grandmothers and grandfathers had planned for me. That's exactly how I view it. I know that whatever I need to do is going to come up, and then I'll just like. So my spirit, I have a really close connection to my spirit now, and it's like if I feel like I need to say something or I'm pulled away, I just do it now.
Like my people, we don't stay in one spot. We keep moving. That's why there's so many Desjardins across the Canada. Right? Like Cree, there's so many different types of Cree. It's not because we stay in one spot. It's because we move, and that's just like how our people stayed alive. Was like we kept going, not staying stuck in one spot.
Whoa.
So I think like the idea of like where we're going, it's a hard answer to like have a really. It's really hard to have an answer for that, but I think how I would answer where we are going is that we're just like doing our best, keep moving forward in the best way we know how.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just keep moving forward the best way we know how. I would so say that's just how I would like to leave that. Just if it was just me, That's totally awesome.
And as much as I hear like there aren't plans, to me you guys are a group that has a really, really strong plan of where you're going. It's just not about the specific things that you're doing. It's about how you're gonna approach like each situation in the future, right? And I think you guys are pretty set in how, not set in like rigid, but like you are sure of yourselves and how you're gonna get to that place. And like as a group of people, I think you have like a really good shared understanding of what you're gonna do when you get there.
Also, I think it's kind of like what Marcella was talking about. The people that are giving us money, like the people that like we're having to go through, we have to abide by like the Western standard. But like the whole kind of goal of our organization is to help people break away from the Western standard. I mean, like they want us to plan out an entire year, but I mean, like we have some like people in here that are from nomadic nations that like it's not in their generational coding to plan for a year and ahead. We have some coastal Salish people in here that are phenomenal at fucking planning for a year ahead because that's what's like in their generational like coding. And it's kind of weird that like we have to sort of like abide by that. So that's what like I totally connect with, like wanting to keep it open-ended, because it's like we don't know the direction that we're gonna travel. We just know that we're gonna be traveling. Like we know that like we're just gonna be doing what we can. It's like it feels like the way that they want us to plan it out is almost as if we've already like selected communities and been like, okay, well, we've studied this community and this is like our roadmap for the year, and then this is what we're gonna do to all these other communities. Kind of like forgetting the diversity that like every single community has. I don't like. I love how like Marcella and like Pavel both agree on it, and like to me, it's because like I both see both of them as like having this sort of nomadic generational coding. I mean,
Yeah,
like
we're both nomadic.
you're both from like the plains. Like you
It
didn't
means traveling.
really like
People
settle
always
down in that sense.
for survival. Whereas Coast Salish, you're right. Like you know, like Hobier, right? When the moon, when if it's either above or below, hey, how does that go? Somebody?
It's like a good spring or something.
Well, no. If the moon is above a star, then you're gonna be, or below a star, then you got a good year for harvesting versus not a good year for harvesting, and they plan that year based on that. You know, I think it's pretty cool.
I know that's like another thing that I love seeing in this group is like even like the vast differences of each and every single one of like our our experiences and just like our own lives. There's still like something inside like our coding, like our DNA that like I don't know, like I just in my head able to link that back to like, you know, what is this person's like, how have this person's ancestors lived? Because like I don't know, I think if we were to live like on an instinct, it wouldn't be that far from how our ancestors.
And I think recognizing that as part of what you're doing is important of how you guys do it as well, because not everybody is going to have that knowledge or that thought or, you know.
Absolutely.
My face is all red from how much I'm feeling and thinking. I just get really in like emotional and stuff. So yeah. And then I don't like being vulnerable. Then I get
It's a good place to be vulnerable though.
But still, it's scary.
Where are we going? We don't know.
I think it's
We don't know exactly, but it's gonna be good.
Thing to really share to like for the organizing or like the funders part is that they can't really connect with how cultural is healing, how whether it's like the drums or whether it's dancing or whether it's being around your people.
It's our responsibility for all of us to be leaders. That's what we do. We all have responsibilities that our lives as Indigenous people, it's all about service. That's from the time you're a child, you have responsibilities until the time you're an elder. That never stops. So all of our lives are in service of each other and our people. That's what we do.
And so how does like everyone feel after all that? Like is everyone good?
You guys okay?
Yeah. Because that was a lot.
It was a lot. I'm feeling really heavy.
But
Yeah.
that we needed to experience together, which was really cool.
Through working with VYPER, being inspired and like just held up by our peers, like it's created just like this beautiful transformation for like everyone.
Yeah.
It's
like the freaking cycle of a butterfly.
It is. It's a freaking metamorphosis.
It is.
I love to power. Let me do.